Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new video, but before I get started, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, have not seen any of my videos before, hey, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community, get the content on a consistent basis, is to become a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is Tuesday. It is March the 26th, 2019, and we have a 10-game slate in the association today. First things first, baseball, MLB, starting Thursday. There'll be videos covered here. I will be doing MLB. I also will be continuing to do the NBA as best as possible. And then, of course, we got WNBA in the latter part of the spring going into the summer. So a lot of content, a lot of videos, a lot of information going out to you guys, a lot of advice, a lot of, just basically the information you need. And, of course, options. As always, I always give you more than one, a couple of plays for you guys to make your lineup decisions every single day. So if you're looking to get that kind of content on a regular basis and you're your first time here, please make sure before you go, you definitely subscribe and put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on the MLB stuff on Thursday, as well as the WNBA later on in the spring. All right. One thing, man, my heart goes out to Nurkic and the Portland Trail Blazers. Just real quickly, devastating injury last night. I hate to see players go through that. I was an athlete for a long time throughout my lifetime playing sports, and never had, been in the position to be, but I know how it is to work out and to get into shape and the training and all the discipline and all the hard work that goes into it. And my heart goes out to Nurkic and, of course, the entire team and Portland, Oregon, the state, for them to lose out on one of their key components. But the beauty of that is that a guy like Cantor, who was part of the Knicks and wasn't getting a lot of opportunities to play, is now going to have a great opportunity to hopefully showcase himself and help this Portland team. So I hope that we don't see any more injuries this year. But again, great game. Again, Brooklyn. I'm a New Yorker. Everybody knows me already, knows that I root for the New York Knicks, but I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklynite. I grew up in Brooklyn. I live in Long Island now when I got married, but I'm a Brooklyner. I'm a Brooklyn guy all the way, and to now know that they have a team in Brooklyn, I've really been pushing for the Brooklyn Nets over the last month to really try to keep winning. Been watching their games a whole lot more. This team doesn't quit. They play hard every single night, and again, it's going to happen this time of year. The teams that are going to be battling for position are going to play hard. I've been telling you guys here for a week already. Focus on those teams that have something to play for, and it's not going to be no different here today. But anyway, again, man, I wish a speedy recovery for Mr. Nurkic, and of course, I wish Portland the best of luck, and hopefully Cantor could be able to make a difference for them there in the playoff run. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's look at the injuries for today before we get started. Again, I'm going to try to make the video shorter because we're about to start MLB. So I'm probably going to give you only one play per position today and just touch upon a few guys that you might want to consider. But injuries, Charlotte has Nicholas Batum as a game-time decision with an illness. So obviously that will open up Bridges. Bacon has been getting some minutes as well. So those are the guys we're looking to possibly target. There's definitely some value there on Bacon. I think he's like a drop spot, like 3,500 or 3,800. Cody Zeller is out. Kaminsky and Marvin Williams have been getting most of the bump. So, they've been going small over there in Charlotte, so maybe that will continue to do that. Boston, Kyrie Irving is out. Rozier obviously is in play. Smart as well as Brown. Those guys get a bump in minutes. The key here today for Boston is watching out what happens with Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum is out, that definitely opens up the doors a whole lot for Marcus Morris for more minutes. I also will like Gordon Hayward a little bit more there as well. And you always got the guys like Daniel Theis you can consider as well. Al Horford is also a game-time decision. He has missed like 2 or 3 games straight already, so Baines will definitely get a run as well. Robert Williams III is another guy that's a game-time decision, and if he's out, that's not going to help out that much more. It'll be more Baines and maybe a smaller lineup like Marcus Morris for the Celtics. Chicago, Chris Dunn, game-time decision, back issue. If he is out, Ryan Arcidiacono is going to be a popular play today, which I think I will be on. Shaq Harrison will also be a nice value play at 4,800. I think Arcidiacono is only at 3,600, so he'll be a nice value play, drop spot, pump play there for you guys. For the Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine is out, Otto Porter is out, and again, if those guys, all 3 of them are out, it's going to be really, really an ugly thing for Chicago, but it's going to open up a lot of value for us guys that play DFS. Miami, Justice Winslow, game time decision with the thigh bruise. If he's out, Richardson and D. Jones Jr. have been getting the bumps and the minutes. The Lakers, LeBron James, game time decision with the knee. But it seems the last I heard prior to doing the video is that he is probable. So I do like LeBron James in the matchup. Then we have Josh Hart out knee with the knee. Obviously, KCP has been getting a bump. Caruso will get some more minutes as well. The same could be said for Reggie Bullock, game time decision with the foot injury. If he is out, obviously Rondo, Caruso, KCP are the ones who are getting the minutes and the usage. Washington, Trevor Ariza, game time decision with the groin injury. Chances are he is out. I'm not even concerned with Ariza. You know that Troy Brown as well as Jabari Parker will get the bump. Troy has been playing more of the minutes. Minnesota, Rose and Teague are still out. Obviously, Tyus Jones is still in play. You get a little bit of Bayless if you want to. There's a bump for Wiggins as well as a Koji. And Taj Gibson is out as well. Tolliver and Saric have been pretty much utilizing the minutes there, so you're going to have to take your pick there. A little risky with either one of the two. LA Clippers, Shamet, game time decision with him with an ankle injury. I think Temple is the one who benefits out of Shamet being out. New Orleans Pelicans, Alfred Payne, that's going to be big. If he is out with the wrist injury, Frank Jackson will get a bump. He's been playing mostly the shooting guard. We'll probably move to the point guard, and he'll probably be a popular play today. I think I will have some exposure to him there in that matchup. Then we got Etuan Moore has been still out. Obviously, Kenrich Williams is the one who's been benefiting the most with that. Stanley Johnson has been getting a bump in minutes as well in that forward spot with the injuries to Moore. Anthony Davis, game time decision, but he's more than likely probable to play. Chances are we just don't know how many minutes, 20 to 25, more or less. Houston, Eric Gordon, game time decision with the right ankle sprain. No Gordon, obviously, who takes 12 to 13, 14 shots pretty much per game, will be a bump for Paul. Obviously, Harden is going to take a bulk of those shots as well, and I think that there is going to be a bump in minutes and an opportunity for Iman Shumpert. Gerald Green out. Daniel House has been the one who's been benefiting there and getting the opportunity to play more, so House will probably continue to get the bulk of the minutes. Milwaukee, Tony Snell out. Pat Connaughton will be in play, of course. And then, of course, there's opportunity there for Sterling Brown to get some minutes as well. No Marichek. He's been out with the thumb injury. Dallas, Luka Doncic, game time decision with the sore knee. Me personally, he's the rookie. I would sit him as long as he needs to be sit. They're not playing for anything. It doesn't make no sense for this kid to continue to play if he has some sort of a knee issue. But if he is out, Brunson obviously gets a bump. Devin Harris as well as Trey Burke. Trey Burke has been playing 19 to 20 minutes as of late. Harry Giles III, game time decision, but prior to starting the video, I did get the notification that he is out. So, obviously that does help that Bagley will end up just staying playing more minutes. And that's pretty much where I'm at. Okay, that's pretty much where we at as far as injuries are concerned. There is some value to open up. As far as some tips and strategies today, obviously you can definitely go with a studs and scrubs with all the injuries I just mentioned. If those things pan out, you got to stay on top of the news. Whatever we discuss here could all change throughout the course of the day. But the studs and scrubs, you can go with a lineup like that today. I could see myself making lineups with some Giannis, maybe some Harden, even some LeBron James, and mix and matching between those three, because I think those are the three guys that I would target as studs today. You could go with game stacks as well as team stacks today. There are a couple opportunities. We're going to discuss a few right now. Teams that you can definitely target. Games that you can target for sure as far as game stacking will be Sacramento, Charlotte with a 219.5 implied totals. San Antonio favored by 4 into Charlotte. This is like a playoff caliber kind of game. Both teams need to continue winning. So you could definitely stack up there. Their highest priced guy on the actual game is Kemba Walker at 9,300, Aldridge for San Antonio at 9,200. After that is 8,700 down. So you can easily get 5 or 6 players. I already checked it myself, and you can. Orlando, Miami at home, 4.5-point favorites with a 204.5 is probably it's going to be a close game because of the over-under, but it's going to be a low-scoring game. So Vucevic is the top guy at 9,900, and then after that, at 7,200 down is the rest of all the players on the entire slate. So you can't. That's a game that you cannot overlook. You should be able to have some exposure to it. I won't say high exposure, but you can get 1 or 2 solid plays, possibly 3 solid plays from either one of the two teams in that game, because that game is a very meaningful game. That game is for 8th place. Miami's the 8th seed right now. Orlando is on the outside looking in. They're the 9th. They're right now 9th in the East and only one game back. So this can easily put them in a position to be tied for that 8th seed. Atlanta, New Orleans is another game you can't target. It's the highest implied total game of the night. And you know how I feel here. Highest implied total games with a spread of 5 or under or 6 or under is definitely a game you got to have exposure to. So this is a game that you must have some of the players. And here, the highest priced player is Julius Randle at 8,400 and Trae Young 8,200 for Atlanta. And after that, it's 7,900 down. So you easily can get 6, even as much as 7 players out of this one game. Sacramento, Dallas is another game you can target as a game stack. Sacramento is favored by 1.5 on the road in Dallas with a 226 implied total. Is one of the higher implied total games also of the night. Luka Doncic right now is a game time decision. If he's out, he is the highest priced player on that actual game at 9,500. So again, 5 after that, De'Aaron Fox is 8,800, and then after that, 7,700 down. You can easily make a team. So highest implied totals that you must have exposure to. The 2 games you must have exposure to today: Atlanta and New Orleans. New Orleans favored by 1 with a 242 implied total. It's going to be a high scoring affair. You must have exposure to the game. Washington at LA Lakers in the later slate. 2-point favorite, LA at home with a 236.5 implied total at the moment. Those are 2 games that I will be targeting as far as highest implied total games that are going to be competitive. And they actually are the 2 highest, and they actually have a spread of only 1 to 2 per game. All right, so those are the guys you can also consider if you wanted to. The LA Clippers game versus Minnesota. Minnesota has nothing to play for, but they are here to definitely be someone to put, to hurt some of these teams that are in the playoff race. The Clippers from 4th to 8th place in the West, they're all separated by about 1 game or 2 games max. So the Clippers can't afford to lose games. They're going to need to continue to win. This is an important game for the Clippers. And for Minnesota at home, it's all about pride. We don't want you coming into our court and beating us here. So the Clippers are favored by 2.5 with an implied total of 230. That is definitely another little sneaky game that you can actually target as a team stack or game stack. If you're going to team stack it, I probably will lean more towards getting the Clipper players, all right? And that's pretty much where I'm at. So studs and scrubs today and a couple of game stacks for you guys. So some of the ways you can go. All right, let's get right to it. At point guard, as you know, my weapon of choice as far as research, and it's going to be my weapon of choice to do research as well for MLB. So if you're not utilizing the draft dashboard, you're going to get everything here from defense to DVPs, the players' names, the 2 sites prices between DK and FanDuel, of course, the price of the game, implied totals, as well as the fantasy points per game, the minutes, the usage that they have of the last 3 games that they have played in, as far as what they have done against the opponent over the last 3 games, as much as 5 games, projections, the value of the projection for today, ownership projections for today, as well as points per minute and the hit percentage, how often they have hit value at that price tag throughout the course of the year. So these are very, very good features on top of everything else you see here that you're going to get. Top players for today, NBA cheat sheet, as well as the sleepers and studs, player trends, and the lineup optimizer, where we take all the players that we're watching, that you guys are watching. When you're utilizing the software, you plug them in there. You want to make one lineup, you want to make multiple lineups, you can do it all there, and you can make your changes of what value you want to switch on pertaining to per position. You can actually make those changes there as well. So all of this here, I can definitely give it, have you guys be able to utilize it, as well as watch my watch players list, which, as you guys know, right now is only 8. There will be more players to this list on a 10-game slate. For today, it's just for the sake of the video. But you can get all this for 30 days for $1 using the link in the description of my video down below. So make sure you set yourself up and put yourself in position to be able to utilize the software, learn as you go, but at the same time, be able to get my watch players list so you can be able to watch that. And that's going to be the same for MLB, all right? That's basically it. So let's get to it. At point guard, at the top, we got De'Aaron Fox. I do like De'Aaron Fox in this matchup here. Sacramento is not eliminated as of yet. They're going to still play very, very hard. The Kings, Dallas, I do love this matchup for Fox. Even with Doncic, he put up 46, as you can see here. That was just 2 or 3 games ago. And there is the possibility of Doncic being out. That will open the doors for Fox to have even a more productive game, at least in my opinion. So I don't like his price on FanDuel, he is more, for me, a DK play. So for you DK players, I think he is the better play for DK at 7,700. If you want to pay up at point guard, 7,700 on DK, you only need 37. He's averaging 36. And as you can see, he's put up 41 plus in 2 out of his last 3. And the minutes are there, 27 or better over the course of the last 3. And of course, his usage is still going to be fairly high, 24 to 27%. And you can see here versus Dallas, he put up a 46 spot in his last game, and the prior game before that 49. So he's averaging 47.5, which he's trending upward as far as fantasy point totals versus the Dallas Mavericks. He's going to be here. They are projecting him to have 1.2 fantasy points per minute, which makes sense at that price tag of, of the projection of 36 fantasy points here today. 33% of the time he's hit 8,800, but I'm more in the DK. DK, 50% of the time he has hit that $7,700 price tag. I do like the matchup. Sacramento's not out of it yet. They're not going to make the playoffs because they're about 5.5 games back with about 8 or 9 to go. But I do expect them to still battle and, obviously make a game out of it. So I do like De'Aaron Fox here as a DK play. Dallas 23rd in defending point guards, and they've been giving up 36.3 fantasy points per game. They did give up 46 to Fox just 2 games ago with Doncic defending him. So, again, no Luka Doncic is going to open up the doors for Fox to be even more explosive. Then after that, Trae Young has been just on fire, probably going to be the rookie of the year, at least for me right now. It seems like he has just slightly passed Luka Doncic. 8,200. He is the only FanDuel play that I would consider at this price tag because of the way he's been playing as of late. He is the same price on DK, so that's why I gave you a DK play. I think De'Aaron Fox is definitely a solid play there. You can go Kemba Walker. There's going to be other guys on this list, ladies and gentlemen. It's just I'm trying to give you 1 or 2 plays, and that's it. But Trae Young here, DK, on FanDuel, 8,200, need 41 to me value. He is averaging 34. As you can see, has been as high as 53, 37 or better, which is trending upward over the course of the last 3 games. And as you can see, over the last 5, he's been at 36 plus, which is also above his 34 average. Minutes are there, over 30 minutes a game, 32 to as high as 34 over the course of the last 3. Usage has been through the roof, 28% during the course of the season. And look at how it's been over the last 3, anywhere between 30 to as high as 38%. So he is taking a lot of usage on the floor. When he's on the floor, he is definitely making things happen. He only put up a 29 against New Orleans the last time. And the only other reason I like this game is if Alfred Payton is out, I do like his matchup even more so with him going up against Frank Jackson. And you can also make a case for Frank Jackson on Trae Young because we know Trae Young is not a great defender. But again, like Trae Young here, 31% of the time he hits value, 8,200, 33% of the time on DK. Again, it's all about the matchup. Alfred Payton more than likely out. If he is absolutely out, definitely Trae Young is even a better play. But again, they're going up against New Orleans. They're 29th in defending point guards. And they've been giving up 37.5 fantasy points per game over the course of the last 5 games. They did give up 45 to Paul and 61 to Doncic over the last 3 games. So, yes, I do like Trae Young here. Let's go over the shooting guard. This is not the only guys. There are a few others that I do like. What happened here? Let's go and try this again. All righty. We go to shooting guard. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. So our shooting guard at the top, man, I will have exposure to James Harden. I said at the beginning of the video, I do like out of the studs today, Harden. I do like Giannis. I do like LeBron James. Probably have a combination of Harden James or Harden Giannis or Giannis James. I don't think I will do all 3. Or you possibly might be able to squeeze in all 3 with some of the value, but I doubt it very much. I think you could get 2 of them. But James Harden's in play. I'm not going to discuss him. He is just, we know he can get you 60, he can get you 80, he can get you 100. So anything can happen any given night. It is a tough matchup for him against Milwaukee, but I do believe he's still in play. I'm going to come down to Lou Williams, man, the Clippers continue to need to win games. Like I said, 4th to 8, they're only separated by 1 game. I do like the matchup for him here. 7,400 for him on FanDuel. You need 36 to me value on DK. 6,900. You need 34. You can play him in either or. 47 in his last game out. He's averaging 32, and he's been at 31 or better in 2 out of the last 3. And as you can see, the minutes are slightly trending up, 28 and 32 over the last 2. High scoring game at 230.5 implied total in this game. 33% usage rate throughout the course of the season. He's been up as high as 34% over the last 2. 48 spot he put up against Minnesota in his last outing against them. Again, 1.2 fantasy points per minute. 32% of the time his hit value is 7,400. It's not that great, but I do like the matchup because I'm looking at it as like they need Lou Will to be able to put up a nice game here because every game is pretty much a playoff game as far as positioning for the Clippers. 44% of the time, the DK price of $6,900, he has met value. Again, with the usage he gets, the tons of shots he's going to take, you got to consider Lou Williams here, and he's playing very, very well as of late. Minnesota, 23rd in defending shooting guards, and they've been allowing 32.2 fantasy points per game. They did give up 40 to Klay Thompson and 39 to Donovan Mitchell recently. Other than that, you come down here, you can consider Evan Fournier, who had a nice game last night in 31 minutes. He put up a 40 spot. He has had 40 or better in 2 straight games, and he's been solid. Over his average of the year of 25.5, he's been at 33 plus over the last 3. Truly on fire. Orlando needs to win every single game. They've won 5 in a row. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now, and this is the best time to be shooting well. He's been shooting well as of late, and as long as his shots are going down, they're going to keep feeding to him. When he's not shooting well, they end up going to Terrence Ross or whoever is hot. So right now, Fournier is hot. Let's see if he can keep it going. Granted, he is on the back end of on the front end, of a back-to-back. Definitely still think that Evan Fournier is someone you can consider. Marcus Smart with Kyrie Irving out, obviously him and Jaylen Brown are in play, guys that you can consider. And it's just a couple of guys here as far as shooting guards are concerned that I am going to be looking at. But I think Lou Will is my favorite play right now. As small forward at the top, like I said, I'm not going to discuss them. Giannis is in play. LeBron James is in play. If you want to pay down and save $1,400, you go LeBron James on FanDuel. No problem. He has the higher. He's in a better position, in a better matchup with a higher implied total game. So LeBron James should be in your radar. He's still playing 35 to 36 minutes over the last 2 games and putting up 55 plus. So you can't go wrong. And he hits value 55% of the time at $11K and 68% at that $10,200 price tag on DK. So I'm okay with LeBron. I'm okay with Giannis. I will have a little bit of exposure to both. But I'm going to come down. You can very easily go with Gallinari going up against Minnesota. I think he's definitely someone you can consider in a matchup like this because other than Lou Will, Gallinari is a big part of the Clippers' success. But I'm going to come down to I think I went down too far. Hold on. Small forward. Yeah, no, I didn't pass him yet. I got to update this here. Hold on a second, folks. He shouldn't be that far down. The guy that I'm targeting is Josh Richardson of the Miami Heat. I am going to have exposure to the Miami-Orlando game. This is a playoff game. He is going to get his 30-somewhat plus minutes. As you can see, his minutes are up there. 6,300. He is definitely a FanDuel play, not a DK play, because on DK he's only $100 cheaper. So he's at 6,200 with a $50,000 budget. Not a good idea. $60,000 budget, it works a lot better. That's why he's a better play on FanDuel. At 63, you only need about 32 to meet value. And as you can see, he's been at 35 plus in 2 out of the last 3. And the minutes are there. He's getting more than enough minutes. He's taking more than enough shots to get it down. If he takes the same amount of shots, and he's pretty consistent. Josh Richardson has been consistent. He's good for his 30 to 35, 36 fantasy points. He has those moments where he can get you 40. This is just a solid play here, especially for cash. You could go Josh Richardson in a game like this. I do expect him to put 35 or 40 here in this matchup. He did put up 37 against Orlando the last time out at 5.2 times value. 54% of the time he has smashed that $6,300 price tag. And I do like him here on FanDuel. It's more so of the factors. He's at home, playoff game. Very important. He needs to step up. He needs to be one of the key contributors offensively. So that's one of the reasons why I like Josh Richardson. He's going up against Orlando. Not an easy matchup. They are 6th in defending small forwards and allowing just 23.2 fantasy points per game, but they did give up 35.5 to Jimmy Butler recently. Justin Holiday put up 25, and Kenrich Williams put up 28. So I do believe that Josh Richardson, in the position he's in and what they need him to do tonight and the amount of shots and the usage he's going to get, he should be able to get it done. Okay, other than that, you can't come down here and pay down. If you wanted to find yourself a DK play and take a risk, Jonathan Isaac here in that same matchup, $1,000 cheaper than $59 on DK's FanDuel. He's $5,900 on DK. He's $1,000 cheaper. That's an awesome price. $4,900 for a guy who could get you 30 to 35 on a good night. He didn't play particularly well yesterday. Only played 25 minutes, put up 18 fantasy points. But tonight may be the night that Jonathan Isaac is the one who's shooting the ball well, and maybe not Evan Fournier. So you got to have some kind of consideration in a matchup like this. Close game. playoff caliber game, a guy that definitely needs to be able to play well enough, other than some of those other guys we spoke about. He is someone you can consider here if you wanted to go down. All right. Other than that, I got my eyes on Rudy Gay, Miles Bridges here with the amount of minutes he's been playing as of late. If there's no Nicholas Batum for sure, he's definitely someone to consider. Gordon Hayward with no Jason Tatum, he'll get a bump. I think he would be someone to consider. There's a couple of nice plays here at that 5,500 range, as you can see, between Barnes, Bridges, Hayward. I like Barnes, Bridges, and Hayward the most. You got still Bielitsa's been doing very well as of late. It just goes on and on. There's a number of nice plays. Stanley Johnson coming off the bench. So there are going to be options there. Power forward at the top, I do like LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, hands down. A DK play, he's definitely my favorite DK play. He's 9,200 on FanDuel. You need 46 to meet value. I think it's a little steep, but he's been playing well. He didn't play particularly well in the last 2 or 3 games, but last game he put up a 70. He isn't a mat, but $1,300 cheaper on at DK is definitely a great price. He's only $7,900 on DK, only needing 39, and he's averaging 39. He just finished putting up a 70, and we look over here, he put up a 50 4 games ago, and he has also put up a 52-37 over the course of the last 2 games versus Charlotte. This is a playoff game here as well. Charlotte is in the mix of the playoff race. San Antonio is looking for positioning. Remember, from 4th to 8th place in the West, they're all separated by 1 game. So you could lose 1 game, and within a 2 to 3 game losing streak, you could find yourself out of the playoffs. So every game is important, and this guy is going to need to be big, and I think he's in a great matchup here to do well today, especially with no Cody Zeller up front. If they put him in the center spot today, I think he'll be fine against Charlotte Hornets. So LaMarcus Aldridge is definitely my favorite play here. Charlotte 20th in defending power forwards, allowing 31.5 fantasy points per game. They gave up 40 to Siakam, 37 to Marcus Morris, and 41 to Tobias Harris over the course of the last 4 games. Then, of course, there's going to be some exposure. I think Julius Randle versus Atlanta with that highest implied total game. Got to have some exposure. Don't know if I'm going to go there yet with him on this particular slate, but he is in a good, decent matchup. He's going to go up against John Collins, 8,400. Siakam versus Chicago. Probably won't go there if Chicago is without Dunn, because I got a feeling that's going to end up being a little bit ugly. Now, I would definitely like Siakam if Toronto comes back later on today and says, hey, we're going to sit Kawhi Leonard. If they decide to sit Kawhi Leonard, even though they have had him rest 1 game, they played 2 days ago, I wouldn't even be surprised if Toronto sits Kawhi and Kyle Lowry if Dunn is out, because they know they're going to have an opportunity to sit their 2 better players. I wouldn't even be surprised if that happens, and I would not be surprised at all if either one of the 2 is out today for rest. So, but we'll see what happens. But Siakam could be a possible play. Obviously, Bagley is someone you always got to consider, but he's getting a little priced out at $7,700 on FanDuel. DK $400 cheaper at $7,300. I could still go to him. I still like him a whole lot in this matchup against Dallas. He is definitely getting pricey. Lauri Markkanen could be a nice play here at $7,600. So he's someone in mind. I do like Kyle Kuzma as a FanDuel play. Remember, I gave you Aldridge. I like his price for DK at $7,900. Well, on FanDuel, the best price here for me in a good matchup is Kyle Kuzma. $6,500 for Kyle Kuzma. You need 33 to meet value. He's averaging 30. All right, he's playing more than enough minutes. He's been playing 34-plus minutes over the last 3, 25 or better in the last 3. He had a 39 spot in his last game. Usage rate is in the mid-20s at 25 to as high as 29%. He did put up a 32 against Washington last time. And if Washington, remember, Washington a little vulnerable up front. He's probably going to go up against Jeff Green. You got Troy Brown probably playing, other than Jabari Parker. And I think he can handle that. I think Kyle Kuzma is a little bit more athletic than those guys and can definitely do some damage here in a high implied total, fast-paced game. Definitely the run-and-shoot type of game will suit him well. So I like Kyle Kuzma here. Definitely like him a whole lot here, $6,500 for FanDuel. He's going up against the Washington Wizards. Wizards are 29th defending power forwards. As we know, they're one of the worst defending teams throughout the whole NBA. They have allowed 32.2 fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. They just recently gave 44 to Kelly Olynyk, 34 to Millsap, and 57 to Markkanen, all in the last 3 games. So Kyle Kuzma is in a nice spot to get it done here tonight, among other guys like Marcus Morris are in play if there's no Jason Tatum, like I said before. So there is going to be some opportunities. Let's go over to center so we can wrap it up. At the top, at center, I think the top play, hands down, is Karl-Anthony Towns. The Clippers are going to come here to try to win a game. They definitely are in the playoff mix. Minnesota's out of it. They're playing for pride, but they're also playing at home. They don't want nobody coming into their court and beating them up. And the most vulnerable area for the Clippers right now is at center. There's no doubt about it. So Karl-Anthony Towns in an excellent spot at 11,800. I do love his price on DK more, so I will probably be playing him more on DK. 10,700 on DK. You need 53 to meet value. He's putting up 49 on average, but he's been at 53 plus in 3 straight games. So he's been trending upward, and he's actually exceeding value of that 10,700 price tag on DK. The minutes, 33 or better throughout the course of the last 3, and the usage rate is between 29 and 35% over the last 2 games. So he's getting tons and tons of work, and that's all due to the injuries up front with no Teague and no Rose. And versus the opponent, he put up a 40 spot in the last game, which is pretty surprising, but 55 and 56 prior to that. Again, man, 1.5 fantasy points per minute. In the DK price, 51% of the time he has met value at that $10,700 price tag. I do like him a whole lot. 53 plus points, fantasy points in 3 straight games. He's going up against the Clippers. They're 28th in defending centers and allowing 31.6 fantasy points per game. They just recently gave DeAndre Jordan of the Knicks 51. Miles Turner put up 37, and Robin Lopez put up 48 all over the course of the last 4 games. So I do like Karl-Anthony Towns. And again, you can go to either one of these 2 guys here. Tough matchup for either or. I don't know if I'm going to go there. I'd rather just pay up for Towns in a better matchup where the game is probably going to still be competitive and close. Vucevic in this game here should definitely do a lot better than what he's been averaging. These 3 games were this year. So he's only averaging 27 fantasy points against Miami. Now, granted, what is happening there is more than likely Miami has been definitely double-teaming him, trapping him more when he has the ball, and making it a little bit more difficult for him to get his shots off, and he has not played well enough. I don't know if that's the case or not because I didn't see all the games, but I do believe that's got to be the case for this guy here to have these kind of numbers against Miami when they're not even playing a regular center on a regular basis. They're not using Whiteside 30, 35 minutes a game. So, again, I do believe he's someone to consider. Competitive game. He is on the front end of back-to-back, but he only played 28 minutes last night. So, again, I don't think that's going to be a factor for Vucevic. And he knows he's the biggest leader on this team as far as offense. They need him. So, I would think that I will have a little sprinkle of him because I like his price tag at 9,900, and I also like it on DK 8,900. You can go there. The Washington-LA Lakers game has got to be a game you got to target. I just don't like the McGee price has been ballooned up to 7,500. But at 6,500, I can go there on DK against Thomas Bryant. And you can also go the other side of the court and go with Thomas Bryant on JaVale McGee. So you can go Bryant or McGee, and I think you should be okay. Other than that, Marc Gasol is a little appealing here versus Chicago. But again, if Chicago is going to be that depleted, I don't know how much exposure I will have to Marc Gasol. So we'll see what happens. Not a whole lot I love there. Like I said at the top, Karl-Anthony Towns is the one that I really do like. And that's pretty much it for now. I'm trying to make it quick. I still probably believe I did more than I needed to. But nonetheless, we're going to continue to do the videos. They're just going to be one play. I'll sprinkle in and talk about a few others. Remember, if you're following me on Draft Dashboard, nothing changes. Every day you go there, even if I don't even do a video, there will be players on the watch players list because I am still playing the NBA DFS every single day. So, I mean, even if I only play a little bit of $20 that night or $30, I'm still making lineups and I'm still looking at those same players that you guys are looking at. So, right now it's at 7. There will be more here after the video, so make sure you stay on top of that. Stay on top of the news. There's a lot of value today. You can go studs and scrubs for sure today. And again, make sure you target some of those games I mentioned. Other than that, man, I wish you guys a lot of luck. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. MLB 2 days away. Can't wait to get that going. And that's basically it, man. I wish you guys a lot of luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.